So for the angle between vectors, use this formula. Cosine of theta is equal to the dot product divided by the length of u times the length of v. So this is either called the length or the magnitude. You can use those interchangeably. Magnitude is the math term. Length is if we're speaking English. So in this case, it's going to say cosine, and then the angle is already given 40 degrees. And then for the dot product, so multiply the x with the x, so that's going to be negative 6x. Multiply the y with the y, that's going to be plus 30. And then find the length of each vector, so that is the square root, and then you square this, plus you square this. So this would be 36 when you square it, plus 25. And then the length of this one would be x squared plus 36. So with it having a x squared and also an x, most likely we're going to use the quadratic formula. Well, let's start with what is cosine of 40 degrees. So a 0.766. So this side is 0.766. The numerator, I can't simplify that. Negative 6x plus 30. How much is this? So 36 plus 25, that's going to be 61. So we have the square root of 61 and the square root of x squared plus 36. Okay, now I don't want to work with fractions anymore, so I'm going to multiply both sides by this denominator, square root of 61 and square root of x squared plus 36. Do that on both sides. So these are of course going to cancel, so on the right side all that's left is negative 6x plus 30. And then this, I guess I just need to write it down the way that it is. The square root of 61, the square root of x squared plus 36, and the 0.766. Next, I want to get rid of these radicals, so I'm going to square both sides. So on the left side, when you square this, that's just going to be a 61. And when you square this radical, it's just going to leave x squared plus 36. And then I also need to square this number. So it's still on the calculator, so I could just put squared. And it's a 0.587. And then on the right side, square this binomial. So when you square negative 6x, that's going to be 36x squared. Then multiply these two terms, which would be negative 180x. And now double that. So negative 180, when you double it, is negative 360x, and then square the 30, and I know that 3 squared is 9, and then it would have 2 zeros at the end. All right, we're getting close to doing the quadratic formula. This I need to distribute. So I need to take a 0.587 times a 61, and then distribute that. So there would be 35.807 times x squared. And then I would also need to multiply it with this 36 times 36. So that's a 1289.052. So plus a 1289.052. 0.052. Right here, I said the x, but I forgot to write it. Okay, so the right side is not going to change for this step. And now, in order to do the quadratic formula, everything should be put on one side. So subtract this from both sides. So that's going to be 36x squared minus this. And that's going to leave 0.1. Okay, I better use a calculator. How much is 36 minus 35.807? 193. So 0.193 x squared. And then minus 360x. And now I need to subtract this from both sides. So that's going to be 900 minus the 1289.052. Negative 389.052. Okay, now that it's set equal to 0, we could do the quadratic formula. Although I'm starting to run out of paper, so let me extend the page. So it's going to be x equals negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4 times a times c. And then that's all divided by 2 times the a. Okay, let's see. First of all, a negative and a negative. Hold on, let me get my little propper upper to get rid of the glare. So first of all, right here, a negative negative will be a positive 360. And then I'll do plus the square root. And then 360 gets squared. I don't really need to put the negative because when you square a negative, it's positive. And then this would be negative times negative, so that's positive. 4 times a 0.193 times 389.052. And then get out of the square root and put parentheses. And that gets divided by, and because this is two numbers, you should put it in parentheses so the calculator understands. And there we go. Within just 8 minutes, we already have one solution. X is equal to 1866.365. Then, of course, there would be a second answer when I do minus the square root. So don't forget the plus and minus right here. And then that would be negative 1.08. Now, why did I get two answers? Don't forget, whenever you square both sides, which is a legal operation, but it could give you an extra answer that doesn't make sense. So which of these two makes sense? So one vector is negative 6, 5. So it's like this. And the other vector is x and then comma 6. So if I put the x as 1866, go way, way, way over here and then like that, is it possible that this could be 40 degrees? Yeah, it looks like that's at least possible. What about if x is this negative 1.08? So that means x would be right here, and then go up to 6. Let me make this one in red. So if you use this answer, it would look something like this. And then, actually, now that I look at it, let's see. This is going at approximately 45-degree angle, and this would take just a little bit off of that, so that would be like 40. This one looks like it's almost perpendicular to this one. So I'm saying that this one actually doesn't make sense. This is the final answer.